Good evening and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with News Tonight. Before we go over to the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash your hands and faces regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions by you are all that it takes to defeat the ongoing pandemic. And now let's get you the headlines. Countrywide COVID vaccination drive from 16th January. 30 million frontline health workers to be inoculated in the first phase. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls it a landmark step. India sets new record in war against pandemic. COVID tests cross 18 crore mark in the country. The national recovery rate touches 96.41%. India is making vaccines for the entire world, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas event. Urges the Indian diaspora to use Pravasi Rishta portal to connect with Indians across the world. Prioritize deliberations and debates, not deadlock, in legislatures, says Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu. Urges legislators to ensure trust in lawmaking bodies through exemplary behavior. And an Indonesian flight with 62 people on board goes missing 4 minutes after takeoff from Jakarta. The Boeing plane was en route to Pontianak in Kalimantan. The biggest story of the day, India will launch its COVID-19 vaccination drive from the 16th of January. In what will be the world's largest inoculation program, priority will be given to nearly 3 crore healthcare and frontline workers. And after the healthcare and frontline workers, priority will be given to those above 50 years of age and the under 50 population groups with comorbidities, together numbering around 27 crore. After the announcement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to Twitter and said India will take a landmark step forward in fighting the coronavirus pandemic with the beginning of the nationwide vaccination drive. Here's a report. India will launch its COVID-19 vaccination drive on 16th January. Priority will be given to nearly 3 crore healthcare and frontline workers, including the Safai Karmcharis. After healthcare and frontline workers, people above 50 years of age and the under 50 population groups with comorbidities will be vaccinated. The vaccination date was disclosed by Prime Minister Modi after reviewing the COVID-19 situation and vaccine preparedness on Saturday. The Prime Minister was briefed about the preparedness of the centre and the states for vaccine rollout. The review meeting was attended by top officials, including the Cabinet Secretary, Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister and the Health Secretary. The Prime Minister will also hold a virtual meeting with Chief Ministers of all states on Monday. The Drugs Controller General of India approved emergency use authorization for 2 vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, earlier this month. India has conducted 3 dry runs across states since late December. Over 61,000 program managers, 2 lakh vaccinators and 3,70,000 other team members have been trained across states, districts and block levels. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And as we get ready for the vaccination drive next week, the downward trend in new cases continues. 18,222 cases were reported from across the country in the last 24 hours. The steady fall in the new cases has ensured the contraction of the total active cases would stand at 2,24,000 today. With 19,253 recoveries reported in the last 24 hours, the national recovery rate has also increased to 96.41%. Also, 228 deaths were reported from different parts of the country yesterday, taking the total deaths to 1,50,798. The total cases in India stand at 1.04 crore, out of which over 1,56,000 people have recovered. India tested 9,16,000 samples on Thursday, which takes the total samples testing in the country to 18.02 crore. Among states, Kerala continues to report the highest daily new cases at 5,142, followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka with 3,693 and 970 new cases respectively. Maharashtra saw the maximum casualties at 73, followed by Kerala and West Bengal, which reported 23 and 21 daily deaths respectively. And coronavirus cases continue to surge in the United States and the United Kingdom. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has asked the public to stay at home and not get complacent. In fact, the UK government on Saturday began rolling out a series of stark advertisements as part of a new awareness drive that wants people to act like they've got it, because anyone can spread COVID-19, especially the new highly transmissible variant that has seen hospitals in Britain being overwhelmed with COVID-19 patients. More details in this report. While developed countries like the US and the UK are struggling with the coronavirus pandemic despite lockdowns, experts agree that it is all due to lack of compliance.
Over the past few days, we have seen some of the highest numbers of deaths recorded at any point in the pandemic. This is happening because over previous weeks, there has been a lack of compliance with what health authorities are advising in several countries. The virus has taken advantage of this and is spreading at an alarming rates in some countries.
In the UK, the mutant virus has led to an unprecedented surge in the number of COVID cases. The rising numbers have prompted London Mayor Sadiq Khan to declare a major incident, asking people to stay at home even as hospitals are finding it difficult to cope. So far, Britain has inoculated 1.5 million people with the Pfizer, BioNTech and Oxford University AstraZeneca vaccines. It plans to vaccinate 15 million people by mid-February.
We have probably a good baseline immunity as compared to the Western populations. So our population may be less vulnerable to the disease and less vulnerable to the severe disease. While in the United States, you see a lot of patients with COVID-19 developing severe disease and going into ICU. The similar is not the case in India. And probably we are lucky in that regard that probably our childhood vaccinations as well as our exposures to various organisms, viruses, bacteria in our childhood has made us more immune to the COVID virus serious disease as compared to those who were not.
So far, the United States has reported 21.8 million infections and 3,67,458 deaths. The pandemic has claimed over 18 lakh lives across the world. Bureau Report, RajyaSabhaTV. On to some other news now. President Ram Nath Kovind has asserted that the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan would make the world order more just and fair, promoting greater cooperation and peace. Delivering the valedictory address at the 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention on Saturday, the President highlighted that India has one of the largest diaspora populations of nearly 30 million residing in different corners of the world today. He added that our diaspora is our face to the world and champions India's cause on the global stage.
The world is one family. We have ensured that our development is shared with other countries. To this end, we look forward to engaging more meaningfully with you and seek your recommendations for providing further boost to our initiatives. We want you to actively participate in the making of New India. I invite each one of you to be a part of India's transformation story and contribute to it with your ideas, business models, investments, technical expertise, and knowledge sharing.
The chief guest of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas convention, President of Suriname, Chandra Prasad Santokhi, said, The country shares deep bonds with India, and both countries have managed to maintain their heritage, culture, and customs. He said the two countries should increase their business to strengthen this bond.
मेरे प्यारे प्यारे भरतिया प्रवासी भैया और बहनें लोगन, हमार ओर से आप लोगों का राम जोहार पहुँचे। का हाल बा? हमारे देश सूरीनाम के ओर से आप सब लोगों को इस 16वां प्रवासी दिवस पर हृदय से अभिनंदन प्रस्तुत करीला।
Addressing the event, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said, "We in India have responded through the policy of Atmanirbhar Bharat, building strong capacities at home in order to make a larger contribution abroad."
This included the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Awards, the Overseas Citizen of India, and the Persons of Indian Origin cards. In the years that have passed, these initiatives have been strengthened by a range of other activities, and even more transformed by the very unique bonding that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has established with the diaspora. The Know India program for young overseas Indians and the Pravasi Tirth Darshan Yojana for the older generation have been notable. The online quiz Bharat Ko Janiye, launched in 2015, has also made commendable progress. The scholarship program for diaspora children is indeed another connection, as is the expanded cultural activities of our embassies abroad and ICCR centers. This year, we organized 5 virtual conferences as a precursor to the celebrations of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2021.
The 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, organized by the Ministry of External Affairs, concluded on Saturday. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Indians living overseas came together through the virtual mode this time to celebrate the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu shared a series of tweets extending his greetings on Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. In a Twitter message, the Vice President said, "Our NRIs carry the fragrance of this ancient land to faraway places and with their hard work enhance India's reputation overseas." He added that the NRIs bring new ideas, good practices and investments, thus contributing significantly to the growth of the country in multiple ways. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi sought the cooperation of the Indian diaspora in fulfilling the goal of an Atmanirbhar Bharat. He said that the role of Indians living abroad has been commendable during the COVID-19 pandemic. He added that the world praises the professionalism of the Indian citizens. The 16th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, celebrated online this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Indians from different parts of the world joined the proceedings that continued for the entire day on Saturday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the gathering, inviting non-resident Indians to join the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission with their skills and resources.
इस वैश्विक महामारी के दौरान भारत ने जो सीखा है, वही अब आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान की प्रेरणा बन गया है। आज पूरी दुनिया को अगर भारत पर इतना ज्यादा ट्रस्ट है, तो इसमें आप सब प्रवासी भारतीयों का भी बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। सबसे बड़ी बात, आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान के तहत आप दुनिया के गरीब से गरीब तक एफोर्डेबल और क्वालिटी सॉल्यूशन पहुंचाने का जरिया बनेंगे।
While sharing India's measures in combating the pandemic, the Prime Minister said India is making vaccines for the world. He said India's vaccines will be provided to all the needy across the globe.
आज भारत एक नहीं बल्कि 2 मेड इन इंडिया कोरोना वैक्सीन के साथ मानवता की सुरक्षा के लिए तैयार है। दुनिया की फार्मेसी होने के नाते दुनिया के हर जरूरतमंद तक जरूरी दवाएं पहुंचाने का काम भारत ने पहले भी किया है और आज भी कर रहा है। दुनिया आज सिर्फ भारत की वैक्सीन का इंतजार ही नहीं कर रही, बल्कि दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम भारत कैसे चलाता है, इस पर भी नजरें हैं।
The Prime Minister told the Indian diaspora to make use of the Pravasi Rishta portal to connect with other Indians across the world and in India.
दुनिया भर में भारतीय समुदाय के साथ बेहतर कनेक्टिविटी के लिए रिश्ता नाम का नया पोर्टल लॉन्च किया गया है। इस पोर्टल से मुश्किल समय में अपने समुदाय से कम्युनिकेट करना, उन तक तेजी से पहुंचना आसान होगा। इस पोर्टल से दुनिया भर के हमारे साथियों के एक्सपर्टाइज का भारत के विकास में उपयोग करने में भी बहुत मदद मिलेगी।
The Prime Minister also mentioned that over 45 lakh Indians were brought back from different countries in the Vande Bharat mission. He also applauded the Indian diaspora for its contribution to the PM Cares Fund. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, RajyaSabhaTV. Moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also interacted with India's leading economists on charting the economic agenda in the post-COVID world. The interaction was organized by Niti Aayog. All the attendants agreed that high-frequency indicators are showing signs of a strong economic recovery, and that too earlier than expected. Here's a report. Prime Minister Modi appreciated the inputs received from the participants and highlighted the crucial role such interactions played in setting the national development agenda. He highlighted how the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent management threw up new professional challenges for all those involved. The Prime Minister underlined that together with a fiscal stimulus, the government also tried reform-based stimulus, which was seen through historic reforms in agriculture, commercial coal mining and labour laws. The Prime Minister explained his vision behind an Atmanirbhar Bharat, where Indian companies are integrated in global supply chains in a manner not seen before. He underscored the faith shown by foreign investors in India's growth story, with foreign direct investment growing by 11% between April and October, despite a global recession. He highlighted the economic potential set to be unleashed by the National Optical Fibre Network, providing internet connectivity to some of India's most remote areas. On infrastructure, the Prime Minister highlighted the National Infrastructure Pipeline as the government's commitment to developing world-class infrastructure. The participants stressed on the importance of investing in public health and education, as human capital will also likely emerge as a driver of growth, especially in the knowledge economy going forward. They also stressed on labour-intensive manufacturing, given the success India has achieved in launching the production-linked incentives, the PLI scheme in mobile manufacturing. Kriti Mishra's report for RajyaSabhaTV. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has asserted that the legitimacy of legislators and lawmaking bodies is critical for effective functioning of parliamentary democracy, backed by the much-needed trust and confidence of the people. He was addressing the present and former legislators of Goa on the occasion of the Legislators' Day in Panaji. The Vice President urged on ensuring legitimacy of both lawmakers and the houses through effective functioning.
It is the functioning of the legislators and the law-making bodies that can either make or mar any democracy. Their effective functioning forms the basis of people's trust and confidence in parliamentary institutions. Unfortunately, there is certain trust deficit with people's perception about the legislators, and the legislature being the negative based on what they get to see and hear. This deficit needs to be addressed at the earliest by all concerned, so that India, we are the world's largest parliamentary democracy, and it can stand taller with its head high if our legislators and legislature function more meaningfully and also more effectively.
The Vice President stressed that representing people is not a part-time activity and it shall be the prime responsibility, if not full-time. He complimented the people and successive governments of Goa for the emergence of the state as the most developed one in the country.
We select and elect people based on their character, caliber, capacity and conduct. Proper connect with the people, conduct, character, commitment, capacity and communication. Parliament or legislature is there to discuss, debate and decide. 3 Ds. Do not take recourse to the 4th D, disrupt. Disruption, obstruction is not going to do anything good to the country. Construction, positive thinking.
BJP President JP Nadda on Saturday reached out to farmers in West Bengal, launching the party's Krishak Suraksha Abhiyan and Ek Muthi Chawal schemes in the state from Katwa region of East Burdwan. Addressing the farmers there, JP Nadda said that the Modi government has worked more for the farmers' community than the previous governments. He also said that the party is committed to ensure that the benefits of the central schemes reach every farmer in the state. Nadda went on to say that West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee agreed to implement the PM Kisan Yojana only after realizing that her party is fast losing ground among the farmers of West Bengal. He also stated that since coming to power, the Modi government has increased budget on agriculture by 6 times. He also expressed confidence of the BJP winning the state assembly elections scheduled later this year.
हमारी सरकार आएगी तो कृषक की लड़ाई लड़ करके उनको न्याय दिलाने का काम भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार पश्चिम बंगाल में करने वाली है। इस बात की हम सौगंध खाते हैं, इस बात का हम करेंगे।
The next round of talks between the farmers and the government will take place on the 15th of January. Hopeful of resolving the impasse, the government has sought proposals other than seeking repeal of the law from the farmers. Meanwhile, the experts say that the farm laws are much needed and they will benefit the agricultural sector in the long run. With no outcome, even after the 8th round of talks between the government and the farmers on Friday, all eyes are on the Supreme Court hearing on 11th January on petitions challenging the new farm laws. But despite the farmer unions remaining steadfast on their demand for a repeal, experts assert that the farm laws are much needed reforms in the agricultural sector.
मुझे लगता है कि अगर जनवरी 15 का मीटिंग में ज़्यादा कुछ हल निकालने का नहीं लग रहा है। अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट बीच में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का अगर कोई इंटरव्यू नहीं करता है, क्योंकि सरकार की तरफ से बहुत सारे पहल कर चुके हैं, ये किसान संगठन थोड़ा अड़ियल होकर बैठे हैं कि कानून को वापस लेना चाहिए। क्योंकि मैं नहीं समझता कि ये ठीक है। कोई भी निगोसिएशन में आपको किसान संगठन को अल्टरनेटिव देना चाहिए कि इस कानून में क्या क्या उधार हो सकता है।
The union government is ready to make amendments but has ruled out outright repeal. The government has sought alternatives other than the repeal of the law.
लगभग 3 दशकों से किसानों की मांग थी कि कृषि बिलों में सुधार की आवश्यकता है। मोदी सरकार की एक बहुत अच्छी कोशिश है कि वो 3 बिलों को लेके आई है। पिछले 2020 के साल में जहां दुनिया में देश में कोरोना काल चल रहा था, ऐसी स्थिति में जहां तमाम सेक्टर बैठ गए थे, वहां पे कृषि क्षेत्र का बहुत अच्छा प्रदर्शन करना ये जताता है कि कृषि क्षेत्र अर्थव्यवस्था को उठाने में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण और लाभदायक सिद्ध होगा।
The farmer leaders say they have given their proposals to the government on 2 key demands. The unions will also hold a meeting on the 10th of January ahead of their meeting with the government on the 15th. With inputs from Ravindra Singh Sharan, Bureau Report, RajyaSabhaTV. A high-level committee headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been constituted to commemorate the 125th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in a befitting manner. A gazette notification to this effect was issued on Saturday. The Union Culture Ministry has said that the high-level committee will decide on the activities for a 1-year-long commemoration beginning the 23rd of January this year. The members of the committee include distinguished citizens, historians, authors, experts, and family members of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, as well as eminent persons associated with the Azad Hind Fauj. In a tragic mishap, 10 newborn babies died after a fire broke out at a hospital in Bhandara district of Maharashtra in the early hours of Saturday. 7 babies were rescued by the fire brigade personnel. The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained. The deceased infants were aged between 1 month to 3 months. The fire broke out at around 2 a.m. in the special newborn care unit of the Bhandara District Civil Hospital, which had a total of 17 newborn babies. State Health Minister Rajesh Tope stated that at least 3 of the 10 infants died of burn injuries, while 7 others died of suffocation caused by smoke. State Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has ordered a probe and announced a compensation of 5 lakh rupees to family members of each of the deceased infant. In a Twitter message, President Ram Nath Kovind said that he was deeply saddened by the untimely death of the infants in the fire accident. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also said he was distressed by the loss of lives of children. In a Twitter message, he expressed condolences to the bereaved families. While Prime Minister Narendra Modi called it a heart-wrenching tragedy, he said that his thoughts were with the bereaved families and expressed hope for the quick recovery of the injured infants. And in another unfortunate incident, a passenger jet carrying 62 people lost contact with air traffic controllers on Saturday after taking off from Indonesia's capital Jakarta on a domestic flight. The Boeing 737 passenger plane lost contact just 4 minutes into its journey to Pontianak in West Kalimantan. There were 56 passengers and 6 crew members on board. The Indonesian Navy has determined the coordinates and ships have been deployed to the location for carrying out search. Now, according to local media reports, some fishermen spotted metal objects believed to be parts of the plane on Saturday afternoon in the Thousand Islands. A probe is underway. And before we leave, RajyaSabhaTV once again appeals to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash hands and face regularly, and don't forget to maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. Good night and thank you for your time.